Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to this tournament's very first ever Game 4.
I guess it's true, right? Finally, we have a bit of an even match here. No stomping today.
Yeah.
Both these teams looking very equal. It's just about Snake's picks that I think is really letting them down.
Sure, like the ideas are there. They look really cool. They seem like, this could be a composition that works. This could be a strategy that's definitely working a lot for them on Team League, on the ladder or their scrims, but it's really just not working out on the battlefield. It's not working out when it matters.
No, it makes sense, but they have to find use for these lineups. Like the first time they brought out something original, it was like a pushing sort of composition, and they never really found a push with it. They never really found any sort of traction behind it. They never got a lead. And then with that last game, it was kind of like a very powerful roaming composition where they were looking for a lot of ganks. They never found any until the late game, and then already the other team was already online and comfortable.
Well, I mean, here's our battleground. Basically, you get seeds, you become a plant, you do a lot of damage.
Garden of Terror.
Just look at the graphic. If you've never seen it before, we'll explain it more in the game. But I want to actually keep going back to this, what we're talking about, because I think it's really important. The other thing to note is, just on the same note of these weird picks, we saw them pick a hero that was released in Korea less than 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Unless you played the PTR, which still is only about a week of time, if you didn't play the PTR, you've got less than 2 days of preparation on this hero. Picking that in a tournament is kind of a questionable decision. Literally, how much practice does he have? Not enough. You need more than 2 days practice on a hero before you can play them competitively.
Yeah, he really needs to get figured out. His builds need to get figured out and what talents to choose. It did do some work. We did see some amazing things with it. Divine Palm, saving a lot of lives, but beyond that, he wasn't that useful compared to an Uther or a Rhaegar.
Or a Malfurion even,
Yeah, completely. All the other basic, top tier healers have a lot more uses.
So just talking about this map a little bit, you get this plant, you can drop these little growths on the ground, and they'll stop turrets from firing, they'll stop forts from firing, and they do a lot of damage to them as well at the same time. And you can also drop down this little plant that'll turn your enemies, it'll basically polymorph them into other plants where they lose a little bit of movement speed, and they also basically they can't do anything. They're silenced.
Yeah. So it's a very powerful tool to have. You need to get 100 seeds for it to spawn in your base, and one of your heroes will take it. And you do a lot of pushing, a lot of team fighting with it, especially in that late game.
I think we're going to see a Zeratul ban here. The power was real last game.
Power is real. It's a big map, a lot of ganking potential, a lot of mischievous play that Zeratul can do, and there we go.
He can also blink in and steal seeds and stuff like that. You just don't want to deal with him.
Straight up Lyric ban as well. So everyone kind of going back to the start of the series, being like, okay, let's slow things down again. Let's kind of reset it. MVP is 1 game away from taking this, so Snake has to probably conform to a bit more of a normal style.
First pick Zagara, so yeah, going back to the norms. Now, right now, Nazeebo is open for MVP, and they look really strong with him, but it looks like they're going to go for their tank picks. I bet they picked Johanna here too, as well.
That would make sense, right? They just keep sticking to it, and it has done a lot of work. Hopefully Lockdown doesn't get it. Ooh, a Nubarak this time,
Nubarak,
actually.
okay.
Huh. Maybe it's going to help out a little bit more with dealing with seeds. And, we'll see exactly why he chose Nubarak. Trying to figure out exactly what the choice is above Johanna.
Yeah, it's a good question. Nubarak's beetles are pretty nice on this map. They can give you some vision, and also you can kill the big terrors, the night terrors, a lot faster with the beetles as well.
I guess it's just more DPS.
Yeah, more damage in general.
Just helps out a little bit more. It's going to be a much more dive potential as well with Judgment from the Tyrael. You borrow charge behind that. You got a lot of sort of stun.
Exactly.
Chain
A lot of crowd control.
Yeah.
The Johanna pick here, not a surprise from Snake. This does leave a healer open. They might take Uther here. I think it wouldn't be a bad choice.
Yeah, if they want to go down that path, just securing that powerful healer.
Okay, there he is. And this means that Black can save their healer for their last pick. And bans here, probably going to be a dealer. Might see a ban on Jaina. Although Snake hasn't really been favoring Jaina today.
Yeah, we haven't really been seeing much Jaina at all. Seeing more Kalthus than Jaina, which I'm kind of surprised by, but Kalthus has been doing pretty well.
I think good bans here are Jaina, Kalthus, and Sylvanas, especially considering Snake loves their Sylvanas. Going to be Kalthus.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't want to Kalthus from here. Maybe a Vala ban. Maybe remove that sort of DPS from Black.
I think a Vala ban is perfect.
It really has been that next choice every time.
They could ban a healer, but on this map, I feel like you're not really begging for either Rhaegar or Malfurion. I think you're like pretty flexible. So
yeah, it could kind of be a waste. I think they really want to make sure to limit the DPS. Jaina was the choice last time in this kind of situation. Do they want to go that route again? We haven't actually seen a Jaina today, so I wouldn't mind seeing that myself, but I'm sure Snake doesn't.
I think they're going to ban Vala. That's my guess. I think it's the best overall good ban here at this point.
It's a hard decision either way. Like, both of them are so powerful. Vala just does a lot of constant DPS. Jaina has that roaming potential and a lot of burst.
Now, keep in mind, if they ban Vala, then Black's definitely going to take Jaina, and then Snake has to get another DPS, and there's not a whole lot left. Witch Doctor's an opportunity, an option, but MVP Black might take that away. Oh, okay, they banned the Witch Doctor. That's smart. That's good. I completely forgotten about that.
Look at that. They went for Jaina and Vala, so it looks like they want to go for that DPS after all.
This means that it's awkward for Snake to get another DPS. They might actually go for Hammer here.
Could be Hammer, could be Sylvanas. I mean, Sylv not that great at the damage there compared to what we see from Black.
And Zagara's damage is not always as consistent as you'd like it to be. It really depends on the situation.
It's a sticky situation for Snake.
I really don't like if they pick Hammer here. It just didn't work out for them.
Hammer hasn't worked out for anyone today from either side. Let's just bust out like Tychus or something.
Honestly, not a bad choice.
Better than that, right? Better than seeing Sergeant Hammer again.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. They're deliberating about this quite a bit.
Could be like Asmodan or something, maybe. I mean,
Asmodan is decent.
He's not really like hard DPS there.
He's decent for killing the plants. Sergeant Hammer is the choice, though.
All right.
Bit disappointed, but we'll see how this one works out.
Snake rolling the dice. Not looking for Snake Eyes there, Wolf. That would be bad.
That would be bad. All right. Final pick here. Going to be another tank, most likely.
Should be,
unless they go for another DPS, which would be okay for me. Like, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, it might be the choice in this situation.
Like,
they're up against multi-tanks and heavy DPS there. Where do they go? Where do they choose from here? They're having a hard time picking these last couple of picks. I think they might be put themselves in such a corner where they're having trouble actually making a proper lineup.
I think a Muradin pick is pretty solid.
You think a Muradin?
Yeah.
I don't know, like Joanna and Muradin together, it feels like it's too much tank, not enough sort of like extra sort of DPS on the side. Maybe you want...
They go Arthas.
Arthas, all right, that was going to be my next suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Korean way. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't like Muradin and Johanna together. I feel like that's simply nothing. They're going to do the same thing, and they're not going to do much more.
Sure, they don't offer a lot more beyond that.
Arthur's going to do a lot of damage. You're going to have that slow potential as well as Johanna going to be pulling them in.
Rhaegar the healer, the final pick. So, I think Rhaegar overall better than Malfurion on this map. You don't see, especially in the Korean scene, in the Korean meta, you don't see people contest seeds. Usually they just kind of divide it up. You take the top one, we'll take the bottom one. Malfurion's good in that case. But overall, I feel like that burst heal that Rhaegar offers is much better. Plus, the slow is more consistent than Malfurion's roots.
Yeah, certainly much longer lasting as well.
So, I think these are good comps for both teams. I worry for Snake. I feel like MVP has the much better composition, but still a solid comp. And their Zagara is pretty on point.
Is definitely on point. Very solid hero in general. I mean, that creep tomb is going to give a lot of vision throughout the map on a very big map at that. I'm still a little nervous though. Sergeant Hammer has had no success today.
None whatsoever. All right, guys, let's go into game number 4 here. Starting right now. Alrighty, here we go. Game 4. Snake versus MVP Black.
It's like MVP looking for a gank if they can find one sticking together, but Snake going to be splitting up. Looks like it's going to be that top lane that's going to be pushed. So you see that Zagara, Sergeant, Hammer, and Uther up there.
Yeah, you always want your healer in the tri-lane with Hammer, always, because Hammer has so much push potential.
So much push potential and is very vulnerable as well in siege mode. And now that they've identified where everyone's sitting, Thinking like, okay, looks like they might be looking for a gank here early on.
Oh, here they go. Saki coming up with Meride. And look at that blizzard damage there on Kinu. He gets knocked up, but he will escape, but he's absolutely going to have to go home.
Missed
at
the
least
impale.
tap.
Missed the impale, man. Lockdown, another shaky start. We're seeing that trend here, Wolf. I'm nervous.
Yeah. Well, they did put Lockdale down on a noob and not Tyrael, so that means that we're going to be seeing probably some better judgments here overall. Some judgment calls, if you will.
They made some good judgment calls on the judgment user.
Yeah.
Sign's going to be that player.
Okay.
He's going to get bullied out by Oreo Man on that Arthas.
This is the first time we see Oreo Man on Arthas. He's usually on the Nubarak if he's not on Leoric. He was on Kerrigan last game.
He really is the go-to guy on like skill-based heroes. And Arthas another great hero. It requires a bit of babysitting. He's like doesn't really have a decent escape or anything like that, but he is very tanky.
Yeah. Saki putting off some serious damage on Sergeant Hammer there, which is very important. Oreo Man trying to deny seeds here. It's not going to happen.
Oh, there you go. Not finding that impale. Not going to find much else there.
Okay. Now, are they going to actually try to contest the bottom plant?
I think it's hard for either side to really commit to doing the big terror yet. They're going to like keep farming their lane, make sure they don't miss out on any soaking. And from there, maybe when it's around level 4 to level 6, they might try for it. Or if they find a good gank or a team fight. Look at this.
Kong goes down. That's a big problem. Just the gank potentially here with a noob. Plus Rhaegar's slow. And then once you slow, Saki just puts on the damage because you can't escape from the blizzard because it slows you as well. You just get chilled. Oh, it's bad.
It's massive crits. It's the burst potential. That's why Jaina is usually so popular in these lineups.
Yeah. Now, Mong was losing the lane hard up at the top. He has recovered his hit points, but he's still just being pushed back. He's not able to do what he wants to do. And this means the pick just, again, feels pretty weak. You know, he wants to poke at Saki, but it's just too risky.
Yeah, I honestly do not like this Sergeant Hammer pick. And they're trying. I admire them for trying once again, but I feel like it's been tested enough this series, and it's always let us down. And look at this. It's like, Oreo Man going to be the next target here. Nice.
Oh, the Howling Blast is so good to stun them. Because if he hadn't hit that, he would have just been eventually just CC'd to death.
Yeah, he would have been in a lot of trouble. We're going to be working on those terrors both sides here.
Ooh, Lockdown, like, stealing the seed.
Just one. Just one.
Is it just one? Can I just have one?
Plans.
Well, the rest of my team said couldn't come, so I thought I'd hang out with you guys.
You know, if he went for like a suicidal borrow charge, he might be able to get a terror.
You know, it might be worth it. It might have been.
It might have been.
I mean, it's obviously not going to happen anymore, but I think he was thinking about it. I think that's why he was there.
Like, should I do it, guys? And was like, don't do it, don't do it. Don't throw away your life for that.
It's like, oh, Lockdown always does this. Well, like, Lockdown, I told you it's not worth it.
It's not Hero League, man. This is actually the Super League. You can't do that.
Yeah. Well, he decided not to. I mean, it's definitely, the potential is there, but both teams get exactly even seeds at 90. And it's now daytime.
Daytime once again. So no terror activated, not till the next nighttime, and very even on seeds there. 90 each.
Slight lead in EXP for MVP, which is kind of weird because instead of soaking, they actually had a Nubarak, you know, threatening. So you missed some EXP, but it must be the kill that they got that gives them that extra lead.
I mean, this could do a lot of work as well. Whoa, that giant
like
exploded.
Went to pieces, man.
Whoa.
Second one just died calmly.
That's pretty ruthless. I'm surprised they turned the stone.
Yeah, I actually never noticed that before. It's kind of cool.
It's like high graphics or something, man. I don't know. Like, I never see this on my PC.
I always play on the highest graphics. Like I said, I'm bad.
Oh, look at this. You're looking for it. Monged survives, and he busts down that wall to get out.
I like that attempt there because they knew the wall was easily going to be broken, so the escape potential was there. Mong just having, again, some issues here in the lane.
Sergeant Hammer in general just having trouble, and I mean, against this kind of roaming potential with a lot of lockdown and a lot of burst, he's going to last seconds if he gets stunned.
Yeah, like, if Blizzard hits him twice, he's already dead, man. It's basically just like, goodbye, Sergeant Hammer, I'm so sorry.
Well, too much damage.
You see, actually, Snake is going to be able to push this Merc camp, which is good because I feel like the Knight is about to approach us. And if they have that lane pushing, that could definitely do a lot for them. Counter-wise, though, MVP doing the same. And they have evened up the EXP. We see Tyrael still taking imposing presence, even though it's been nerfed significantly here. And everything else looking pretty standard.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, really.
Cleanse for both teams as well on their supports. An endless creep for Zagara. Kinu.
Yeah, Kinu actually.
He's actually going to go down.
Yeah, way too much. Beautiful rotation from MVP.
You know, Kinu was trying to see.
Oh, look at this though. He makes up for it. If they get a forward, then they're going to get level 10 before MVP, which is going to be huge.
Yeah. It looks like it's just going to be just seconds of advantage if they get it at all. It looks like they're not actually going to have that advantage.
Oh, they're going to trade it out instead though. It's going to be bottom and top.
I feel like that was a huge misplay by Kinu. He should not have been there. He was looking to see if they were taking the Mercs, but the fact that no one was in lane was a pretty obvious tell that they were doing that.
Yeah, lack of, I guess, map awareness there.
It's almost just like he's spaced out. It was just kind of strange.
Just not in the zone, man.
I mean, we've seen Kino make some really good plays so far in the series. That was just not one of them.
Interesting. We did see a Web Blast from the Nubarak as well. Wonder who they're looking to disable in this.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, hold that thought.
I would say probably Uther, right? So that he can't use his heals. He can't get his Divine Shield off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they got a few options here if they want to disable like a tank, disable the healer, disable the DPS.
Definitely not going to be disabling Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah. They just want to kill Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah. You know, when you're in that web, you actually can't take damage while you're essentially in stasis.
I like this. Removing all the creep they can, stopping that map vision from Zagara.
Both players, of course, both teams have a terror now. And instead of trying to get these seeds before they take it, they're going to activate theirs, which does give a little bit of extra time here to Snake to try to steal those seeds. Looks like they're actually just going to back off instead.
Yep, here we go. It's going to be push up mid. Bit of a team fight terror here.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to actually try and sneak it while this is all happening.
Oh, this is smart. Kocha can help zone with that polymorph.
He's got to be careful. He's kind of roaming down there. It's going to force the whole team to go down there and give it away. Kind of a little bit of a misplay, I feel, giving that up like that.
Yeah.
He went for the top and like pulled the army away. Pulled the team away.
Yeah.
They sneak it out, but this way.
This is a really bad fight as well. Kocha taking way too much unnecessary damage. There's the judgment! And that Sergeant Hammer needs to get out of there. Mong is in trouble.
Yeah, Blessed Shield, stunning up the team, stopping it from getting burst down.
All right. Oreo Man really in there right now. This is going to give the rest of the team another opportunity to engage. Missed polymorph here again. And Oreo Man just trying to hit these polymorphs and continuing to be the frontline tanker.
Oh, they're going to secure this terror.
Yep.
Wow, going to give them a big lead here.
This is pretty significant because now they can be a lot more flexible the next nighttime. They don't have to worry as much about those seeds. Oreo Man just wants to drop a plant and run away. He'll have probably one or two more plants in him. I guess just one before this time's out. 15 seconds left. He can actually try to fight. He could try to contest this.
Yeah, for sure. Kong already here. Going to start applying the pressure, dropping the Hunter Killer, coming from both sides here.
Oh man, Sign is stuck here as well.
It's out alive, but they're going to claim a lot of these Cs once again. Maybe get a second Terror from this.
And that Terror explosion is a ton of CC. And look at that, everything burst him down. There's the Rhaegar heal at least to save Tyrael.
Goes down, there's that Web Blast as well, disabling one of them. Judgment onto Johanna there.
Oh man, these judgments for MVP have been their bane, I feel. And Merryday barely escaping in wolf form, but that's 2 kills, and they have 108 seeds now in the bank.
You're gonna get another one. It's gonna give them a lot of momentum, already up a level. Ability to push once again once that seed grows into a plant.
Yep. That little seedling. Well, I mean, how much further ahead could they possibly be? I mean, they're literally doing everything perfectly with their lead. Yeah,
they've made all the right choices so far. They've really bullied MVP into a very difficult place, very behind.
You've played a lot of Anubarag, probably more than me. I've played a decent amount. Our other StarCraft commentator, Valdez, probably played the most. What do you think about this Web Blast? I don't know if I like it. I don't know if it's actually good enough.
I don't think it really is warranted because there's no one hero on the side of Snake that needs to be disabled. It's kind of like a standard sort of team fight composition. I mean, you're disabling one hero, which is great. Maybe the Locust Swarm there, you want to kind of help out with the DPS there.
Yeah, the Locust Swarm is just extra DPS, all that damage is missing, plus the heal on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it helps out a lot. I feel like it is a mistake. I didn't like the Web Blast at all.
Well, let's see what Oreo Man can get done here again. Notice they consistently putting him on the terror. Oreo Man always the playmaker, always the skill guy. Just going to keep tossing these polymorphs, which has been dodged so well by MVP.
Sending it out. Here's more damage against Disable. Maybe commit to a fight here now that Ford is disabled for a second.
I mean, essentially, Oreo Man loses his Howling Blast while he's in here, but the Terror's slaps do so much damage. And oh, there goes Nubrak. They have to use Ancestrals so early, and that means they can actually take a fight here whenever they're ready to.
Now goes the Ford. Bigger lead experience here. It's not over yet.
Ooh, Sign and Kyocha nearly getting condemned there. That could have been a great initiate moment there.
It's so powerful with this Monk at the back, just sieging these towers, getting more and more experience. This might actually force MVP's hand.
Yeah, okay, Sign's going to come in from the back. Who's he going to Judgment this time? It's such an important decision. Okay, it looks like they're not actually going to commit to a fight just yet. They're just trying to get Oreo Man down. He does drop one more plant. And now he can actually drop his Howling Blast. Lockdown is the target here, and without that healing power, he falls so fast.
Really nice play there from Snake. Judgment, but it's not going to do much. And now Ward, they're going to be surrounded here. This could be a complete disaster.
Oh, this is going to be that disaster, man. Sake here in the front line. Sign does escape, but down goes Sake. Meride needs to get out of there, and this is a big problem. They're actually going to be able to get a keep off of this, especially because they've got Zagara and Sergeant Hammer. So much extra damage.
So much health on all these heroes as well. Oreo Man very healthy right now. Down goes the keep.
Hinu goes back.
Huge lead for Snake in this game. They're finally making Sergeant Hammer work. I'm so excited about this, Wolf.
When you have a lead like this, Sergeant Hammer ends up being so powerful, and also they're just able to keep Sergeant Hammer alive, you know? And we're not seeing the judgments from Sign onto Sergeant Hammer. If you actually Sergeant Hammer, you know, Judgment Sergeant Hammer, and then Jaina gets the Blizzard off with the Cone of Cold, especially once you get level 16 talents, which we're not there yet, but Sergeant Hammer's going to die so fast.
Web Blast the Uther, you know, make sure like all these things happen at the correct time. It can go right for them. It's going to be a hard fight once again. It's 16 versus 14. They don't have those 16 talents. Ooh. Hugely favoring Snake.
Yeah, Lockdown is trying to keep Tist out. He was taking a lot of damage, but they're just going to let the seeds go. I think this is the right choice, but they better be rushing to that bottom boss. They really need to get their own seeds. If they lose these seeds too, they're not going to be able to recover in this game.
No, Snake on their way down as well. Huge rotation down. The Terror's down to half HP though. They got a lot of seeds, but not enough for that Terror just yet.
They need this Terror. They absolutely need this. They cannot give this up. Here we go. Oreo Man coming into the fight with Tist as well. An early Ancestral onto Kyocha, but he has to leave the fight. And that Water Elemental is not where he wants to be. And there's the Judgment there onto Kinu, but he escapes.
Mong just doing sick damage. He's left completely untouched the whole time. Full HP. Like they literally didn't even go near him. Here they get another Terror, man.
They're able to put so much damage on early on. It feels like MVP Black is just not able to initiate these fights. And then the Judgments are like way too late and on strange targets. And then once the fight starts to go their way, they have to Ancestral, you know, MVP has to Ancestral somebody early on, which means that when the bigger targets are starting to go down later on in the fight, they don't have that anymore. And then you've got Sergeant Hammer uncontested. Once you lose one member, once anyone goes down on MVP, Sergeant Hammer has so much more freedom because it's hard to get in there on top of those tanks. The Condemn, what we saw there, getting right into the middle of the fight, and then Oreo Man as well, that was just all they needed to push that fight into their favor.
They really just need to explode onto one of these DPS. It really should just be Sergeant Hammer at this point, or Zagara. Like, they have to do the damage. They do have Web Blast to disable that healer, at least for a small amount of time. And beyond that, they have so much burst damage with Jaina there. But when they're so behind at this point, how do they find that way in?
They went for that fort, by the way, here, or at least those cannons, before backing. It's going to cost them big, but I think it was the only way they could have gotten level 16 for this, so I think it was the right choice. Now,
oh man, this is also a horrible place to be fighting in.
Oh god.
From multiple angles like this, they're going to have a hard time trying to jump on top of the Sergeant Hammer or any sort of DPS here, and they're already getting whittled down.
Yeah, and two of their members are way out of position here. Okay, Tist whiffing that ulti hard, though. That was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, but I guess he can be allowed to do that at this point. They're so far ahead, and they have that Terror pushing down another keep. Down it goes, actually.
Yeah. So now only one keep left.
This is a horrible place for MVP to be. 3 on one side, 2 on the other.
They're not able to regroup, and Oreo Man is doing the best job ever at zoning. And he's just going to go and drop another plant here with the last 10 seconds. Right in the middle, going to hit everything. That's going to draw them out of position again. All right, this is an opportunity. They could Judgment onto Hammer. And now he's out of range. See, they're just not able to initiate. Their initiation is very weak.
It's like really perfect positioning from Snake at this point. They're just making sure everyone's looked after, no vulnerabilities, and Johanna's always at the front.
Look at how they were able to just escape from the situation. They don't want to fight. That's too risky. That's the one way MVP Black comes back into this game, so let's just...
Well, Black's looking for it again. Even though they're down 3 levels, they're looking like they want to take a big team fight here.
I think that's because they know that if they win a team fight, if they wipe, they can get some objectives, and they can actually get those forts. I mean, we're at, right now, 5 forts to 1 keep.
Yeah, it's looking kind of...
Oh, look at the positioning here for Oreo Man! There's the early Ancestral. Oreo Man is the one who's web blasted. But I don't think it's going to matter. This fight is definitely not going to go MVP's way. Their best bet is to get out of there.
Yeah, they absolutely cannot do anything at this point. The web blast completely wasted, essentially whiffed.
I think it saved Tyrael there, most likely, or else he might have ended up dying, but now it's wasted at 35 seconds more before that's going to come back up. And also the Water Elemental is wasted in that fight as well, so a long time before she's ready.
Well, I mean, it's going to be level 20 versus 17. At this point of the game, once again, they're at the core with every sort of lane at this point, except for that bottom one, which is near the keep. They look for that team fight, they win it, they try and core them. That's pretty much the bottom line of their objective now.
Sure. All right, here we go. Oreo Man runs in. The Sergeant Hammer has Nexus Frenzy, so it's going to be a ton of extra attack speed and attack range. And she does bonus damage at a distance, so it's a great trait to pick up there. Now, Uther has a second life, don't forget, so he could be a little bit more aggressive too.
Well, they're kind of running for their lives. They're trying to delay this next Terra, but Snake has all the power in the world right now.
You see Saki wasted Ice Block as well, so she's not going to have that in that fight.
It's going to be a more of a delayed fight. They're going back into the defensive, pushing out these lanes once again, because they keep getting pushed up by Mercs.
I think MVP is getting really nervous, to be honest with you, Muge. Like, using a Ice Block versus a Shield Glare, like, that's not what you want.
Well, I think at this point, they've kind of ran out of options, right? They're so far behind. They know they're going to be up against another Terra. It's going to be a late game Terra as well at 18 minutes. And down these many levels, they're not going to have heroics at level 20 for a long time to come.
And look at the top push. It's starting to get stacked up with those siege minions. That's kind of how this game works. The longer things stack up, you get, at first it's like 2 are hitting the Nexus, that's kind of a problem, then it's 3, then it's 4, then suddenly you're going to lose the game if you don't deal with it.
They do have that Terra out. They burnt their Terra early here, but can they make good use of it?
That's a question. The core is now under attack. That top push is really, really strong.
I think the Terra is literally just running towards the core.
Oh, he's just going to go for it?
They're just going to go for it.
This is called in Korean heck, when you go for an all-in push on the core. And that is what we are going to see here. They're going to go for it. Oreo Man trying to set up a fight here. They don't have to all in, but they've threatened, they've forced MVP back at least.
Yeah, the Terra is so far behind as well. They're still catching up. Very bad position to be in.
Yeah, the Terra can't recall. So this is a great rotation.
There's the Web Blaster disabling. They're going to go for that one big fight.
All right, Mong taking a lot of damage here, but he's doing so much as well. Kyocha trying to get the Polymorph on him here, but he misses it.
Mong getting really
low.
low.
And that's the right judgment, but he gets shielded by Uther. And this
shield, absolutely ridiculous.
This is probably going to be it.
That's it, man. There's nothing left over here. That Terra's going to go down.
And Oreo Man just tanking all this damage. Sign taking so much damage as well. Kyocha is going to lose that Terra now. And it's Bala inside. You got to be careful. Bala getting stunned, knocking off that heroic as well. And that's going to be game. Down goes the core. We are going to game 5.
As expected from these two teams. Snake bringing it back when they need to. And it's going to go to that rubber match. Oh, man. Unbelievable there.
All right, guys. Tell your friends about this. This has been a sick day of matches. We're seeing all sorts of new picks, new meta. Snake is trying to change the way that this game is played. Sometimes it's working. Sometimes it's not, you know.
First time they really thought outside the box, and it worked out, right? They got a Sergeant Hammer pick, and they made good use of it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. So MVP looking pressured at this point. I'm sure they were looking to close things out.
Yeah.
No doubt coming into this pretty confident, but Snake really changing it up.
When we look at these replays, I want to focus on the Tyrael plays because I feel like MVP, whether it's lockdown or not on Tyrael, the Tyrael play has been pretty weak. I feel like it's really, they're picking him consistently, and he's consistently not been valuable.
Yeah, he has not really found much traction from any team. Like, we've always just seen these pretty questionable judgments, and beyond that, like, he's there, but he's not doing much.
Sometimes I get the feeling that in Korea, and this happens in other esports as well as League and StarCraft, especially League, actually, I would say. A play becomes meta and becomes standard. Okay, look at this Judgment again. Not able to find much because instantly defined shield.
Well, it's on Johanna as well. Like, I guess she is the lowest character of the four there, but she's also the tankiest by far, and she has a lot of abilities that can keep her alive.
Exactly. I feel like right now...
Arthas.
Yeah.
Let's count out how many bad judgments there are. I don't want to completely be horrible to this guy, but I mean, you want to focus on the weak ones here, right?
Yeah.
You want to focus down like the vulnerable targets. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one on Kinu. Yeah, exactly. That one makes sense.
Divine Shield, but I mean, look at Monk the whole time. Siege tank sitting there, sieged up, untouched for a fight. That shouldn't happen.
So what I was getting at earlier is just the idea that in Korea, something is decided as the best in meta, and people kind of stop thinking about it. But when you think about it, do you really want to pick a Tyrael into a Sergeant Hammer comp? Like, it makes more sense against a Kale comp. Do you want to pick it against an Uther comp? Because this keeps happening. This has happened like 3 times in a row. We're watching this happen every single time.
That was perfectly timed.
And against Uther, Uther is just waiting for that judgment. Someone else is better off. You know, I like a Nubrak. They had him, but then they used Web Blast, which didn't end up doing too much for them.
Yeah, I mean, Web Blast makes sense against like an Illidan sort of composition where there's like everything relies on one hero, disable him, and the composition falls apart.
Right.
This one was a very standard sort of composition there. It didn't really make too much sense.